Hey, it's Ubu, and today we're playing a game called Haunt of the House, and it's developed by Developer. Basically, we've rented a quiet house deep in the forest, hoping for peace and solitude. But soon, strange events begin to unfold, unseen footsteps, eerie sounds, and the chilling feeling of being watched. Explore, survive, and uncover the truth in this short psychological horror experience. I thought this looked pretty interesting. A short little game. I've been kind of busy today, so a short game is exactly what I need. And if you're not familiar with my channel, at the end of the video, I'll review the game and share my general thoughts. If I didn't say it, you can find this game on itch.io, by the way. And I guess we'll go ahead and hit start game and see what's up. So, start game. Oh, after months of noise and stress, I decided to escape it all. I rented an old house deep in the forest. No neighbors, no signal. Everything was quiet the first night, until the sounds began. I wasn't alone here. Okay. Spooky. Okay, press any key, let's go. Very orange, red, and brown. October 13th, 1998. Hey, here we are. Boy, this is an extremely intense filter. My gosh. Forest Ranger. Hey, I haven't seen you around before. You rented the old house, didn't you? Yeah, just needed some peace and quiet, away from everything. Peace and quiet? Huh. Not sure you'll find that here. If you hear anything at night, stay inside. Don't open the door. What do you mean? Are there animals? In a forest? Yes. Something like that. You're not the first to rent that house. The last few people disappeared. No one knows why. Okay, well, I bet you did it, didn't you? Now what? Do we leave? Or do we go around her? Hey, excuse me. My gosh. This is rough to look at. You can turn off this filter, by the way. I figured I'd play it with it on, but I'm almost questioning that. I almost want to turn it off now. Because this is rough. On my eyes. Alright, we got a stamina bar. We're very out of shape. This is very immersive. Is there no driveway? You literally have to park on the street and walk into the forest that's behind the town? That's really odd. Weird design. Alright, we're here. Okay, there we go. I'm tired. I have to sleep. There we go. Bit of a delay when you click open. Alright, here we are. Let's sleep. Okay, now it's E to sleep instead of click. Alright, whatever. 12:30 a.m. That's midnight and a half. Okay. Where did that sound come from? I want to uncover the secret of people disappearing in this place. It's random. I have to search the house for a flashlight and then find out where the sound is coming from. Okay. I like how immediate their reaction was. What's that sound? I need to uncover the mysteries of the missing people. It's very sudden. Figure we look around the house a little bit. Not a bad little place. Alright, well I guess we go out in the woods and die. Or whatever. There we go. Oh god, I thought that was a body. A sleeping bag full of rocks. I assume we go this way. I don't really know. We came from over there, right? What's this? Blood! What happened? So I interacted with it. Like, what happened? What is that doing? Okay, nothing's happening. Oh, there we go. I got it to work. It's supposed to put you on the other side of here, I guess. So I interacted with it, and then I turned around and I walked away from the fence, and it somehow put me back and put me on the other side where I guess I needed to be. That was weird. I guess I got lucky fixing that. Anyways. Okay. Unless I really didn't pay attention to where it was putting me, which is extremely possible. Anyways, a lot of blood here, and that ain't good at all, man. Everybody's dead. Whoa, what is this? Because I feel like I was interacting with it, and it was... Whatever, I'll talk about it later. Whatever. Anyways. Satan! Hello? Was anyone there? Do you know where the missing people are? Oh. He was cutting me up and offering me as a sacrifice to Satan. If you are reading this post, know that you are dead. Uh-oh. How do I... Yeah, there we go. I'm dead? Uh-oh. Ah! Well, we're definitely gonna die, because we're really slow. I think I activated my sticky keys. Oh no! Do I use the car? Oh, we do. Oh my gosh, dude. I hit shift enough to activate sticky keys, so it was behaving strangely. Okay, I'm back on the main menu, and now I'll review the game. I start with visuals, then I go into audio, mechanics, story and concept, performance, and settings, and then I give the game my final judgment. And keep in mind, these are just my opinions. Visually, the filter for this game is extremely harsh, and I think a little too strong, a little overdone. I don't mind the overall environmental detail and the level design, which is very small and compact, but I think it was neat, but it was really hard to enjoy with the VHS filter, which of course I can turn off, which I will show you now. You can just turn it off. See, that looks a lot better. It still has the VHS filter, but it gets rid of that insane, grainy, like, filter, I guess, over everything. It makes everything orange and hard to look at. So visually, I would say without the filter, the game looks a lot better. Even though it says you turn off the VHS filter, this is still a VHS filter with all the static and pixelation and stuff happening here. But aside from that, I would say visuals are just okay in general, and nothing really stands out to me that I really liked all that much. I think the level design, like I said, is fine, but that's just how I see it. In terms of audio also doesn't really stand out to be all that strong for me personally. I don't mind the music here on the main menu. I have it turned down pretty low so I can hear myself think. The chase music was a little intense in the wrong way. It was a little ridiculous. And you could hear the chase music at the end stop and then re-loop. That wasn't like stitched together where there's no breaks in it. That's kind of weird, a little distracting. I don't mind the guy breathing when he runs out of stamina, but I just don't think there's much else in terms of audio that stands out to me, unfortunately. It's not the worst thing ever. It's just very bare bones. And I think games like this, while being really short, could very much benefit from stronger atmosphere. You know, there's some music and ambience here and there, but I just don't think it comes across very, very well, in my opinion. In terms of mechanics, the game is extremely simple in terms of mechanics, which I don't hold against very short games. I completely understand that, you know, it's 8 to 10 minutes. It's nothing crazy that you have to actually do in the game in terms of puzzles and whatnot. I think you maybe can still squeeze in a few different actions for us to do as a character, like, you know, looking around the house, finding weird clues or weird things left behind by the missing people. Maybe that someone else hasn't seen, like, oh, this floorboard is creaky and loose, and you open up the floorboard and there's somebody's, you know, jacket or something hidden in there that nobody ever found. You know, weird stuff like that, or marks on trees, or, you know, blood or footsteps or something of that nature. I think could really help the pacing of the game, because it's very much like, okay, you're in town, you talk to the forest ranger, you go to your house, you go to sleep, you wake up, you hear a scream, I need to go explore. You go through the fence, and then a guy chases you and the game ends. So I think the pacing is really skewed in the wrong way, and I think just a handful of actions will help the overall experience feel a little bit more congruent. So I would just say mechanics are okay. In terms of story and concept, the story is all right. I like the idea of renting a place out in the woods, and it just so happens that people have gone missing in this place, which is really unnerving. And as soon as I heard the park ranger tell me that, I would have left. I would not have gone to the house to then be a victim. It's crazy. It's a little bit tropey to be like, oh, well, people went missing? Anyways, I'm going to the house. See ya. It's ridiculous. I would have gone home. I would have gone somewhere else in town that people don't disappear at. That's just me. But with that story, it is simple, and I don't think necessarily implemented very well, because the game is so short and there is so few things you actually do as a player. There's no player agency. It's just very on rails, like 2 or 3 different things you do before the game ends. So while the story is interesting and has potential, I don't think the rest of the game holds it up very well. And that goes along with the concept. I don't mind the concept being you show up somewhere and it's a mysterious place, you know, weird stories, and there's people missing, and then you have to like explore and find out really what happened, and then I guess we escape. So conceptually the game is fine, I just don't think it was executed very well. In terms of performance, the game performed totally fine. I have no problems with it. The only thing that was weird is, and I don't know if I was just totally not paying attention, of when you interact with the fence, it would fade to black and come back. And I swear I was still on the same side of the fence every time. And it wasn't like putting me on the other side. Now, I could have totally blanked. The only reason I was convinced of that, and I may not have observed that correctly, is because when I would interact with the blood or the fence, when it would fade to black and come back, I'm still looking at the fence. So it convinced me that something's not working. Because if you were to go through the fence, you would be looking away from the fence. So like I said, I could have missed that. I did somehow figure it out where I walk up to it, and as soon as I interact with it and it starts fading to black, I turn around and I walk away from the fence, and then it just popped me on the other side where I was supposed to be. Really weird stuff. I would work on that. I'm not really sure what's causing that, or like I said, I'm just completely not paying attention. But other than that, performance is fine, and I'll talk about the settings in this segment, and settings are extremely simple. There's the VHS effect, which I would say there's 2 different kinds. It's like you have your dithering. This is more what this is. You turn that off, and you still have your found footage kind of static effect here, which is fine. But the game looks better without the VHS effect on, personally. That's my opinion. And of course, you have full screen as well that you can adjust. But other than that, settings are extremely bare bones, which I think is fine. The audio mixing is okay. Like, it's not terrible. You can adjust the volume here. But the game's performance is totally fine, so you don't need a whole lot of extra stuff to mess around here. Well, my final judgment for Haunt of the House is, I would say it needs some work. It's the bottom of my scale, which is okay. Of course, as an indie developer, I'm not sure of your experience, but you have to start somewhere. So I applaud you for at least making a game, and I think that's a great start. And the more that you do things like this, the more games you make, the more you sort of hone your skills, create your own style, find what works for you, everything is going to work out just fine for you. While I enjoyed the story and the concept, I just think everything else in the game really holds it back. It wasn't just a very enjoyable experience for me personally. It wasn't the worst thing ever. I'm not saying it's like horrible or anything. Don't get me wrong. But what I do here on my channel is try to be fair, but as honest as I can be. I think having some kind of template going forward would help you in a lot of ways. I think obviously having your story and your concept, what is your drive as the character is really important to start with. Because then you can build the game sort of around that. Make the character the vehicle of the story. How you progress and explore and interact with the world that you're designing can then help you create stepping stones of an experience from beginning to end. I like to really stress in the games that I review that what works for me, in my opinion, as a reviewer and even a critic for the most part, I think games really benefit from feeling like they have like a timeline, like a chronology to them. You don't want it to feel too linear or on rails, but you also want it to feel natural while not confusing the character or the player or wasting their time. There's like a balance you need to find there. Don't overthink it. Just use your character and your story and concept as the crux for the world you build around them. Like I said, take it one step at a time. Find what works for you. Don't be afraid to experiment, but also don't overthink things. Don't overcomplicate things. Sometimes the solution to a problem is the most simple. I think an example of what I'm talking about is in the film industry with how directors and whatnot storyboard their movies. And you can really tell when they're really good at storyboarding and when they're not. Because movies can feel very much like chopped and screwed. Like there's just sort of like every scene just feels as though it was filmed independently of the next and so on and so forth. So everything kind of has this weird choppy sort of break in its pacing throughout. That doesn't happen with every movie, but I notice that in games as well. And I think storyboarding in some manner of speaking sort of to craft the pacing of your game, I think can really help you going forward. And that's just my 2 cents on that. Of course, I'm not a game developer, but that's just kind of how I see things, how my mind works when it comes to story and concepts and how they're paced out and how you experience them in a video game. I'll stop rambling now. I hope my insight today is of some benefit to you. Of course, what I'm saying today is very subjective and can be implemented and applied in a myriad of different ways. It's all about how you want to approach it and what your personal inspirations are. And like I said, just keep up the great work. And I think everything's going to be just fine. You got to start somewhere. Don't be afraid of failing. That's part of learning and, you know, becoming better at what you do. So, and I would be totally happy to play more of your games going forward. If you'd like, just keep in touch. I wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors and your work. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you have anything to add? You just want to say hi? Let me know what's up. And don't forget to check the pinned comment below for the links to everything. Go play this game for yourself and form your own opinion. I'm sure the developer would really appreciate your feedback as well as mine. And if you want to support my channel, hit subscribe, leave a like, comment, and share the video. I'd greatly appreciate that. And I think that's all I have to say about it. So thanks for watching my video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. But don't forget, the pale moth is always watching.